what will do? It will the JVM will convert bytecode into binary language,
Local level.
which is understood by
Low level language.
low level language or high level language or binary language, which is understood by computer. Okay, so now, so here JVM and the so and not only that, so JVM will be executing line by line. So while JVM is executing line by line, if there is any critical statement. Okay, like what Aarti said, like if it's any chance to get to alter the execution. Okay, it may be anything like if you miss semicolon or if you miss something like if internal logic may be wrong. Okay, when it see that particular step, so automatically it will throw an object. That object is called exception. Okay, so in real time, if you say, so why so in real time if you say exception, exception not see in real time if you say we are going for, so now we are going for one trip. Okay, consider that you are going to one X place to Y place. Okay, so you are going via car. Okay, so in middle of that journey, if your tire was blast, okay, the tire was blast. Okay, what is that blast? So the tire was blast, nothing but what? You
This
got
is
exception,
unexpected event.
an
Exception.
That
unexpected
is
event.
exception.
That is nothing but exception. Okay, so that is nothing but exception. Now, so okay, before going to okay, now this is exception. Now, if your tire was blasted, so what you guys are going to do?
We will change the tire and we will execute.
We'll take
We
simply
will go further.
instead
So
of that.
what we call the process? What you are doing there? We're handling. We're handling that particular issue. Maybe tire, it may be some engine issue. So what we are going to get any problem, you are handling with something. Okay, if the tire got blast, you are handling with one more tire. Suppose your air got no, if tire got not blasted, but air gone. What will be, and you will be handling with some air, bringing the air pump and you are filling the air. Means what you are doing, you are handling. Okay, like that. If you get an exception, we in Java also we are having to handle that those exceptions. So that type of handling we will call as exception handling. Okay. So what that exception handling? Handling an exception is called exception handling. Okay. So before going that individually, first we will go at exception. Okay. What is an exception hierarchy?
Throwable.
Okay.
Throwable
What
is a superclass of
what
exception.
what is the subclass of the exception? Okay.
If any error occurs, it will written in the try block, and it will be handled by the catch block like this.
So
Try, catch, throw, throws, and
coming to hierarchy. First will be the throwable. Throwable is a superclass for exception. So what is the superclass for Java? Java classes.
object.
Object.
Object class. Okay, object first object class. After object class, we'll be having throwable. So what is
Sir, any
throwable?
diagram,
So
sir? Any diagram is there, sir? It's not
diagram.
able to.
So
Means
you can search in Google. So if you get like a hierarchy of Google, so you'll be getting. So see, I'm telling. Let's see. First object will be there. First, okay. So let me share my screen. I will explain. So, okay. So first, this is the object. Object will be the superclass of the superclass for the all the objects, all the classes present in Java. Now under this object, like under this object class, we will be having multiple classes. Okay, one of the classes is called throwable. Okay, throwable, and throwable is the superclass for exception. Means for this subclass will be the exception. Okay, this will be the exception. Not only exception, and one more one is error. So what is the difference between exception and the error? Anyone, what is the difference between exception and the error?
Runtime errors is called as exception. While writing the code is any business logic issues like that, it will come under error. Any fault issues, fault mistakes like.
Due to compile time also you can we can we can't proceed the we will not write the program, so we have to forcefully we have to check it and again write the program. Yeah.
See, exception, the difference, the main difference is exception we can handle. Errors we can't handle. Okay. So if your car was blasted, you can't do anything with that. If a tire was blasted, we can modify, we can handle something. Okay, that will the difference. Error, if you get an error that we can't handle. Exceptions, we can handle those exceptions. Okay. So here we are in why am I explaining this error means under throwable we'll be having two classes, two subclasses. One is exception, one is error. Error which we can't handle, so we are not going to this. Now under exception, again we'll be having two types of exceptions, nothing but two subclasses. So what we call, what are these types of exception?
Checked and unchecked.
Compile.
Checked exception,
Unchecked exception.
unchecked exception. So what is the other name for checked exception?
Compile time and runtime.
No, I am asking about only checked exception. So what is the other name for checked exception?
Compile
Compile time.
Compile time. Okay. What is the other name for unchecked exception?
runtime.
Runtime.
Runtime exception. So why checked exception is also called as compile time exception?
Compiler will check where handle or not exception.
Compiler will check. Okay.
It is like expected exception, Vamsi, like arithmetic. We know that exception will occur at this place.
Okay.
Compile is aware of those exception. That's why those exception are called compile time exception.
Come again.
Need to have
For the
compiler is aware of those exception, so that exceptions are called compile time. We need to handle those exception in compile time before the compilation.
checked exceptions or compile exceptions, nothing but the exceptions. Okay, the exceptions that are checked by compiler. Okay, and throw an error at compile time itself. You got the questions? You got the answer. The exception that are checked by compile time, compiler, and throw an error at compile time itself. What is the meaning of compile time? Throwing error at compile time. What is the meaning of that?
Before execution, compiler scans each and every line of the code.
Yeah. So compiler, we scan the code. Is there any syntactical error is there or not? Or is there any exception, like checked exception. Is there any checked exception? Then it will check. Okay. So the exception that are checked by compiler and throw an error at compile time is called checked exceptions. Okay, that's why we'll call it this as compile time exception. Means nothing but it will check. Okay, these exceptions will be get at compile time itself before running while converting our Java code to bytecode. At that time itself, we will be getting that exception. Okay, so now what is the real time example for this checked exception? Anyone?
File
When
handling
we,
exception.
when
Any
we
File not
forget to
object
keep
No,
request.
I
semicolon.
want. Okay, so same. Uh, not real
file
time
not
in the sense like don't say like examples. Say what you got. So while implementing, okay, while implementing Java code, so anytime did you guys face any compile time exception? I know you guys did work on file input streams. So working on file stream, definitely you'll be getting that compile time exception. Okay, I'm asking when we're implementing, are you guys faced any type of exception, checked exception? Yeah, existing team. This is for you. Did you guys Bharati,
Yes.
Joel, Naresh, Nisha, Teja?
Vamshi, if we give thread dot sleep, it
Yes,
will show it will show some.
exactly. So if you write the thread dot sleep, okay, if I write thread dot sleep, let me write some. See what I'm getting. Once I call
Compile
thread
time.
dot sleep, so it is asked. See, it is throwing an error. Is throwing an error. This is what compile timer. See, the compiler. Okay, so as I said that these this is one of the exception because if you see here, see unhandled exception type interrupted exception. So to handle this, okay, this is exception. So for handling exception, we are having different ways. Okay, that we will explain. Now, CPC, I am getting compile error. Okay, this type of exception is called compile time exception. If we use this is the basic real-time example for checked exceptions. Thread dot sleep. Okay, because why was using thread dot sleep? Because why it is asking to handle, because there is a chance to get an exception with this step. Okay, that's why you guys have to handle with exception handling. We are having different types of exception handling. Okay, we'll come to the topic. Okay, so this is the example for runtime exception, like your compile time exception. Now tell me, now compile time exception is done. So you guys understood, right? What is compile time exception? Okay, what the example how we will be getting? So I showed the practical example. Okay, now coming to real time real-time exception, like nothing but unchecked exception is runtime exception. So what is unchecked exception and what is runtime exception or runtime exception?
For suppose array has 4 elements. If I call that array with 5th element at the time limit exceeds no. So
Okay.
this is the example unchecked exception.
So unchecked exception, okay, the exceptions that are checked by JVM. Okay, runtime. So if you're saying sometime, then you should get remember only one, that JVM. Runtime is JVM because in runtime only JVM will be taking care of everything execution. In compile time, compile will be taking care of like scanning the errors and converting byte Java class to bytecode. Okay, so the exceptions that are checked by JVM and throw an exception at runtime. Okay, if you get at compile time, then we'll call as compile exception. Okay, compile time exception. If we get any exception at runtime, we'll call as runtime exception. Okay, so for example, okay, the best example is as we said. So now you are you are creating an array. Okay, in that array you are storing 5 elements, and you are going to access 6th element. Okay, so you will be getting any compile error because the compile will check only whether the syntax is correct or not. Okay, the syntax will be correct. Okay, so if you get off, if there are only five indexes, and I'm going to access sixth index. Okay, so syntax is correct, but the 6th index is not present. So the compiler will not have capability to check that in-depth exception. So it will in that compile time exception, this will get passed. This step will get passed. Then while running the scenario, at that time, JVM is too strict. He won't leave any single exception also. So what we'll do? Now we are telling. So I want to get sixth index value, but I'm having only 5. So what we will do? It will throw an exception. Nothing but see if the JVM we are getting exception, nothing but JVM giving some question for us. You are having only 5, but you are trying to access 6th one. Okay, so this is not correct. That's why I'm throwing an exception. Okay, that's called array index out of bound exception. Okay, and if you're accessing some variable, so in that variable you don't have any data. So what is meant by in a variable, if you don't have any data, so what we call that? What are the value present in that variable if the data is not there?
Null.
Null. If we're
Null.
accessing that variable and the value is null, then it will throw as null point exception. Hey, you don't have any value to print this variable. Okay, that's why I'm throwing null pointer exception. So like that, we are having multiple exceptions. Okay, arithmetic exception, array index out of one exception, null point exception. But these are really we are going to work on real time. We are really going to work on this. Yes, really we'll be facing this type of issues in real time, as well as apart from this, we are having most important exceptions. Not like Java exceptions, Selenium exceptions. We are having Selenium exceptions. When you are learning with Selenium, so there you will be having Selenium exceptions. Okay, so no such element, no frame element. Okay, element not interrupted element. So we are having multiple exceptions. So you should know each and every element. So you should know each and every exceptions, because if you know the exception, then you can handle. Because so the tire was blessed and you don't know where is the problem. You are traveling in the car, suddenly the car stopped. Okay, if you know the exception, then only you can handle. If you know the problem in the car, either it may be engine or it may be tire, or it may be in steering, it may be anywhere. If you know only, then only you guys going to handle that. Okay, going to handle that problem. For example, if you know, okay, my tire got blast, you know the exception. And if you get that exception, you should know the solution also. Okay, now I got this exception. Now how to handle this exception? Okay, so I got type blast exception. So what will do? I will change it to new type. Okay, so like that, if you know about array index out of one exception. Okay, if you know about that exception, and you should know about how to resolve that issue exception. Okay, so if you're working on real-time example, so we'll be getting this type of exceptions when we're automating the scripts. Okay, so that's why this is the most important topic while automating, not only for automation, but development for anywhere, wherever you go. Exceptions, exceptions, exceptions. Okay, now we got what is checked exception, what is unchecked exception. We got examples. Now, okay, now you got exception. Now, how to handle the exceptions? Okay, if you got any problem, what will you do? If you got any health issue, you'll go to doctor and you'll take the treatment. Nothing but you are handling your problem. Like that, if you get any exception, you'll be handling that exception. So you guys tell me now, if you get an exception, so how you guys are handling the exceptions?
There are three ways to handle that exceptions like try, catch, block, and throw and throws.
Try, catch, block, throws.
A
Okay.
try and block is one, and throw is another one of the.
Yeah, throw is
So
one of
and
the.
throws is one
Okay.
keyword in all.
Okay, three. Okay. So any others? Anyone want to add any exception?
There is a
Any
one more block.
handling?
Finally,
Throwable.
there is one finally block.
Okay, try catch is done. Final is done. Throw is done. Throws is done. More we are having. Nisha, Teja, Arati, Pankali. Okay. So this is like these are the basics. Okay. Wherever you go, so everyone will be saying like try catch block, finally block, throws. Okay. So here you should know two more handlings. Okay. So many people's context will not tell you about this. But these are the important. Those exceptions, those handlings are also important, but many people will not explain about this. So one is try catch block. Okay, so what is try catch block?
Any error, any chance of exception, that thing we put in try black, so that after executing try black, catch black comes into picture.
First, we intentionally create an exception, then we catch the exception to handle it.
Okay,
In try block, we can write the code, and in the catch block, we can handle the exceptions with the help of JVM or by using own exceptions. We can use them.
The code where we are expecting a exception, we need to put it on the try block, and the handling code we need to write it on our catch block.
okay. So any others? Any other point? No, right? Okay. So what is try catch block? Okay, first try. So who will be writing our code? So I will be writing my code. You will be writing your code. So when I'm writing my code, okay, if writing your code, if you know, okay, there is one step that might be fail in future. Nothing but like critical state. That will be like critical statement. Okay, you are writing some steps. In that step, one step will be might be fail in future. So that part, okay, that critical path will be writing in the try block. Okay, so the code, the dangerous code, that is a critical statement. Okay, those that will be under try catch block. So in future, once the JVM while executing, Okay, if we think it is a critical statement and if we throw an exception, then automatically the catch block we are declare catch also. So the catch block will catch that particular exception and and it will handle that exception. Okay, so try catch will throw an exception. Okay, now catch block will catch the exception. Okay, like that. Because see, in try block, what we are saying? We are how it is handling is try catch will throw an exception when it's throwing before coming to us. So catch block will be like shield. Okay, so while coming, so when it is throwing, when JVM is throwing from try catch when it's throwing to for us in runtime, the catch block what will do now? It will catch and it will keep in this block itself. It will not throw for us because it will handle. Okay, so how will like so for example, so now if we are having shield, okay, if if we are having some bulletproof jackets and the bullet is coming, if the bullet is coming, nothing but it is an exception. Okay, it will not hit your body. Body means nothing but it is throwing an exception at runtime. Okay, it is not touching our body. Okay, because we are having some shield jacket proof. The jacket proofs nothing but catch block. Okay, it is stopping and it is catching. Like that catch, what a catch back will catch that exception and it will stop the throwing an exception. Okay, like this will be handling try catch block. Okay, you are saying suppose like for example, same like as you said, like automatic exception is there. Nothing but so you will be validating. So you know about automatic exception. Okay, you are calling with while dealing with the zero, so you will be getting exception. Otherwise, like as you guys have set example, so array end us out of an exception. So I will be creating an array. I am storing 5 elements and I am printing sixth element. I want printing sixth index. So what is that particular statement like system dot out and pattern that will be in try catch block. Okay. Now in catch block, what I will do? Just I will print a message. I will not throw an exception. I will just print the message. That what will be print the message? You can print any message. If you get the catch block, we can say, hey, we want to change something. You are accessing sixth. Okay, but you are having only 5. Okay, please please access the data until 5th index. Don't go for 6th. Like that, we can print. It will not throw an exception. But we can pass that message to that person who are writing the code from the console. Okay, so that is the try catch block. Now, suppose tomorrow, now this is only one critical statement. I'm having only one critical statement that I'm accessing 6th index. Tomorrow, in same code, okay, in the same method, I'm calling two critical statement. One is like ID of 6, nothing but accessing 6th element, and as well as I'm working on like arithmetic exception, like when you're calling like accessing with 0, okay, like number by 0. Okay, so I'm storing int a equals to 10 and I am int a equals to 10. Now int b equals to 0. Now if I doing a division like a by b, okay, then it will be like automatic exception. Now if I using these two statements in same method, okay, now if you're having only one and, now I'm passing a ball to you. So what you will do, you will be catching that particular ball. In case if I throw another ball, okay, like if at a time if I throw at a time 2 balls, okay, and you are having only one hand, so are you able to catch the 2 balls?
No, sir, only one ball at a
No,
time.
one ball you can catch, and one more you'll get the ball get hit to you. Okay, means exception will be miss. So like that, when we are dealing with, what here what we have to do? We have to handle. So here try catch will not work. Okay, someone throwing a ball to you, and you can catch with one hand. But if you throwing two balls, try catch will not work because you are throwing only one hand. Means one catch block. If you're having multiple catch blocks, like multiple hands, if you throw one ball, two balls, three balls, you will be catching with different hands. Okay, that is one more handling. Nothing but try with multiple catches. So why this try with multiple catches? If so, it's a method or if a try block having different like multiple critical statements. Okay, like multiple critical statements like which will throw an exception like array index out of one exception and automatic exception. Both are having in try catch block. At that time, you will be handling with try with multiple catch blocks. Okay, and multiple like catch block. Okay, that is one more and so is one second handle. One is try catch block and try with multiple catches. Okay, and when we are working with try with multiple catches, if you see this is try. Okay, so what is the syntax for catch? So catch will be like try will be like try and you will be having same process. For catch, it is a method. Okay,
Parenthesis.
you have to
parenthesis
parenthesis exception. So what we have to keep here?
What type of exception we are expecting?
Exactly what we're doing here? Giving
Class, exception class.
class name and the
exception.
variable.
Instance
Class name and the variable. Like exception class name and the variable. So what type of what type of class will be? Suppose here I'm having thing that I'm getting here. Okay, think here I am getting arithmetic exception in first step. Second step, I'm going to get array index out of one exception. Now tell me. So this is arithmetic exception and this is array index out of one exception. Now tell me what I have to use. Try with multiple catches. So try with multiple catches syntax will be this is the template. Catch one and this will be the catch two. Okay, here I have to pass class name and the object. Now tell me in first catch block, in first catch parenthesis, what type of class I have to use here?
Arithmetic.
Arithmetic exception. Yes.
Why arithmetic exception? Why
Because
not?
we are
So I'm
expecting
having. Yeah, tell me. Okay, why? So I'm asking why not index? Why you only A like arithmetic exception? Why not index? Because the first statement is the first critical statement was arithmetic exception. So you will be getting first ball. If you're getting first ball, you will be catching with first catch, like first hand. So miss is the first exception. So the first exception will be handled by first catch block, and the second exception will be handled by second catch block. Now, suppose here you are saying that you are going to use at the classes like arithmetic exception class or index out of one exception class or some XYZ classes. Now, is there any way without giving arithmetic exception? Because suppose there will be one more scenario that you don't know what type of exception you'll be getting. At that time, how you are going to handle
Exception.
We can use the
So it will be
superclass of exception.
super class of exception. So suppose here I'm
Exception.
having two catch block. Okay. Now tell me, so where I can give the exception? Suppose now I want to catch with one known exception and I want to handle with some exception class. So in catch block, okay, I'm having two catch blocks, catch one and catch two. So where I can keep that exception class? Can I keep
In
here
the second
or can
block.
I keep here?
second block in the second catch.
Why I can keep here, right? Exception. I will keep exception here. And I can handle,
Then it,
so because I can action here and I can here I can give like index. This also
no,
will
then
work,
sir,
right?
yes
What?
sir, because if we like provide the superclass in the first, then it will execute the first catch block.
Yes. So once you are once you implemented a exception, okay, exception class. Once you added exception class in catch block, this this will not work until unless if you give here until unless if you pass throwable in second class, this will not work because already we have used superclass. Superclass for what? Checked and exception class. Okay, if you want to call any exception class here, that should be superclass of exception. What is the superclass of exception? Throwable.
Exception.
Okay,
Throwable.
we can give here we can give throwable, and I can give a variable. Okay, this is a try with multiple catches, and one more handling, exception handling, nested try catch block. So what is nested try catch block? Same logic, you know about nested nested for loop,
Nested.
you know, right?
The
Same logic. What is
In
nested
one try,
try catch block?
in one try, we
try
are having a
one
multiple try catches.
Yes. So applying try catch block in the try block we call as nested try catch block. Okay. So anyways, that mostly we'll be not using. We'll be using only try catch or like try with multiple catches. Okay. So one more handle is try with multiple catch. Nested try catch block. Okay. Now okay. Now what the difference? Now okay. Now we handle with try catch block, try with multiple catches, nested try catch. Now what the difference between? Okay. Now what are the nested two handlings? Throw, throws. Now what are the difference between throw and throws?
Throw will declare inside the method cell. Throws will declare at the method signature level.
If we want to throw the customized exception, then we use throw, and throws is like handled by JVM.
Okay.
Throw is the user-defined exception.
Yes, and throw we need to write it inside the method, and throws we need to write with the method name.
Correct. So now, now give me one real-time example. So when you are going to use throw, so why will be going through? Why will be using throw? Existing team, can you guys answer? Then we will be using throw.
Want to write the exception, then we use throw.
Yeah, at what step? So why will be? So why you guys are throwing unwanted? See, we are trying. We are in exception. We are trying to handle exception, but here we are wantedly throwing an exception. Why? In what scenario you will be throwing an wanted exception?
The regular example, Vamshi, like the voting example, we can take. Like if the person is eligible for greater than 18, no exception will be thrown. If less than 18, the user can throw the exception, like he is not eligible for voting or something like that.
Yeah, got it. So we'll take extra examples. So we'll take extra examples. So yesterday we discussed about list, right? In that list, so I asked one question. So what the difference between equals and contains one method? Okay, if two lists are equal, okay, I'm keeping the condition called if list1 dot contains all or like equals all. In that equals, I will be keeping list2. Okay. So what I do, the condition is true. What I have to print? Yes. So we'll be printing like, okay, as you are printing something message like, okay, matching list1, list2 are matching. Okay. Now, if not, what it will go? It will go to else statements. So what you are going to print in that else statement? You will be printing like, see, as of you guys are practicing, what you will do? You will be doing system.out.println and you will be keeping both list are not same. But that is not correct. What we have to do? We have to throw an exception because hey, list2 was list2. Okay, list1, list2 are not same. So I want to throw an exception. Okay. So what we'll do at that time, I wanted to throw an exception. Like, so what will be the syntax for the syntax for true? What will be the syntax for true? Like wanted you are
Throw
throwing an
new
exception.
exception class.
Yeah, throw new exception. Like throw new exception, not exception class. We'll call it exception method. Exception
Method.
constructor. Constructor.
Constructor, sorry. Constructor.
Okay. After new will be having constructor. Okay. So see, why I'm saying constructor after new. Okay. Whatever you are placing, that will be constructor. And how the constructor will be? Construction name should be like class name, and we're having brackets. So in that brackets, we will be passing some message that then you have to pass that message like list1 and list2 are not same. So in that page scenarios, we will be using throws. Throw. Okay. And when we using throws, now I showed. So now I got red dot slip. So if you see, I can get two. Either I can use try catch block or otherwise I can use throws. See here, throws. What type of? So I given interrupt exception. Suppose tomorrow, if I am having one more compile time exception, again I will throw comma. We can keep some file system. Okay, file not found exception. Okay, so instead of giving these two, directly we can give throwable, like nothing but super class. I can keep it exceptions. Okay, so this is the difference between throw. So this will be throw. This is throws, and this will be the throw. So here, if you pass,
So
if you pass
simply
any message, if you
throw
pass
means
any what? Yeah, if you pass anything, it will throw an exception with this message. It will not pass like particular exception like automatic. You will not pass because we are not failing at that. But just we are passing whatever we pass something. Okay, list are not same. That will be print. Yeah, you tell me what you are saying.
so
See.
simply throw means custom error.
Yeah, throw means customize error.
Okay.
So I think we are done with. So we are covered with exception, hierarchy of exception, types of exception, how to handle exceptions. Okay, different types of exceptions. Okay, and really forgot what is really block. See, not really. Finally block. One last but not least, that finally, which is important and handling one of the important block while handling the exception. Because if you go for real time, so what is final block will do?
Whether we are having a exception in the try block or catch block, the finally block will be
Will be
executed.
executed. Type as final block will be executed. Okay. So why we will be using this final block means, so we'll be dealing with some databases or some like URLs. We are dealing with something in real time. We go for databases. We are connecting with databases. Okay. So you'll be connecting database and you're getting that data. So while getting that data or while getting the data, you may get some exception and you may get some exceptions. Okay, if you get that exception, it may get or may not. At last, you should you should fix you should close that. You should disconnect the database because once the connection is once the connection is issued, disconnect should be there. If you don't disconnect, okay, this may be affect to your database. So that's why in final block we'll be keeping that code for disconnecting the database. Okay, there may be some code that should be done mandatory. Those type of codes will be keeping on the finally. Okay, these are all about exceptions. So any questions on this exceptions? Okay, so I think you guys are not having doubts. So anyways, we will be having assessment. So I'll be sending a link to you. So I'll be sending at 3:55 p.m. I'll be send one link in the group. Okay, you guys can start. Okay, so every question is mandatory. If you don't know question, you can keep like NA. If you know, answer the question. If you not understand, if you didn't understand the question, okay, you guys can ping me personally.
Excuse me, sir. The exam is on oops and collections, is it?
Collections and exceptions. Now what I explained.
Okay.
Okay,
Collections
exception
and
types of exceptions, handling everything.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so prepare well. Okay, so I covered in that assessment. I covered each and every part, maps, sets, list. Okay, don't come up with like learning 2-3 points of sets and lists. Don't come like that. So the assessment will be too tough. Okay, you have to learn in deeply. Okay, just brush up the things, collections, and revise the exception what I said now. Okay, and attempt the assessment. All the best for your assessment. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Amshi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.